So recently, CyGames just made this post that they're establishing an AI studio. And right now, most people, at least the EN side of the Uma Musume community, just ran with the idea that from now on, CyGames is going to make AI art, which makes them a bad company. While the intent to dislike AI art is much appreciated, the more likely scenario is that CyGames is just going to use AI for the boring and mundane processes in the company's day to day operations, and replacing actual artists isn't really what's going to happen. Let me explain how this has nothing to do with AI art. So, this is the screenshot of the job search results concerning CyGames AI Studio, and most people are getting stressed at the sight of the first job title, which is the AI Specialist Image Generation. At a glance, this seems like evidence that they're going to use AI art going forward. Except, image generation in the context of programming doesn't mean that. What this job title means, and I verified this with a colleague of mine who is a programmer. You know how in most growing companies, the task of managing data is an inevitability, and it's something that most people don't want to deal with. What the AI specialist image generation is going to do, and I'm oversimplifying here, is that they're going to use AI to figure out strategies that would optimize their in house models within the company. The reason it's called image generation is because, in the context of machine learning, data models need to be trained. And what the company can do is to train models to recognize their art database. So, when an employee needs to see a particular artwork for referencing, they can just ask the trained model to retrieve and generate said artwork, hence the term image generation. TensorFlow and PyTorch are some of the software that's been doing image generation for several years now, prior to the recent increase of AI art usage. So, in simple terms, this job title has nothing to do with creating AI art and deploying it as a product. So, how about the reinforcement learning engineer? Are you familiar with behaviorism? It's something I learned in my language learning classes. Essentially, the idea is that if you want a student to keep on doing the right thing when it comes to language learning, you encourage or reward behaviors and habits that cause the student to do the right thing. So, if a student learning Japanese decided to practice speaking with native speakers and manages to improve their Japanese because of it, behaviorism dictates that said student should be encouraged to do more of that. Another example would be the Pavlovian conditioning or classical conditioning, where the bell is reinforced over and over as a signal that means food is coming. In the context of Games, what the reinforcement learning engineer is going to do, they give AI a bunch of data, figure out what causes the good data to appear, and then teach the AI to keep on doing the things that are causing the good data to appear. Like the first job title, this has nothing to do with making AI art. As for the next job title, this one is much simpler. What the language model engineer is going to do is to create a kind of chat GPT that is tailor made for Cygames day to day operations. So, for example, if an employee needs an email template for a particular subject matter, he can just ask their specialized chat GPT to give him that template, and he'll proceed with just swapping in the relevant data before sending it to a client. Another example is if an employee wants to make the format of a piece of code be more legible. What he can do is just ask their specialized chat GPT to clean up any typos and misalignment to make the code look nicer. Another example would be if an employee wants to access a specific documentation of a particular guideline regarding game development, they can just ask their specialized chat GPT to retrieve that for him. So, again, another job title that has nothing to do with AI art. Lastly, the potential diffusion model engineer. His job has nothing to do with stable diffusion AI, which is known to be the source of much of the bad AI art. What this job title is expected to do is that they'll use AI to predict or forecast the effects and influences of a concept over time. So, for example, if CyGames wants to implement a particular game mechanic in Uma Musume, they'll use AI to predict how such a game mechanic is going to be received by their players over time based on the data they've gathered about their players. In this way, it would allow CyGames to have a better perspective if said game mechanic will result in a net positive to the game's overall experience. So, yes, even this job title has nothing to do with AI art. While I hate AI art as much as the next guy because of the implications, most of the hatred that the EN side of the Umamusume community is feeling right now towards Cygames is simply misplaced, for the sole reason that they misinterpreted programming jargon or ordinary language, which isn't the case for Cygames AI Studio. So, in a nutshell, the artists involved in creating art for Cygames, they're not going to be replaced. So, yeah, having explained all of this, that is all from me. Until next time, then, everyone.